Alright, so with there being 2 weeks left in the MLB season, there are some big races going on for the wild card race, and I guess you could say both the Central divisions, even though it's kind of not really. Or, we know for sure the NL Central is, though. But we do have something going on, as there have at least a slim chance. So, as of right now, on Monday, September 16th at 3 p.m., Cleveland is 1.5 games out of the wild card and 4.5 games out of the American League Central. So, more than likely, they won't win the American League Central. Hate to say it, but Cleveland's out for the Central. But they have the Tigers, Phillies, White Sox for their 3-game series left, and they have the Nats with a 4-game series. But then you have the Twins, who have 2 series against the Royals, 1 against the White Sox, and their other ones against the Tigers. So, it's just a very small chance for the Indians to even come close to that, because the Twins' schedule is just way too easy. Then in the East, we've got the Rays, who are 9 games out for the American League East, and 1.5 games behind for the lead in the wild card, as they have a series against the Red Sox and the Blue Jays left, as long as 2-game series against the Yankees and the Dodgers. So, sadly, I hate to say it, they are not winning the East, but they also have a tough road ahead of them for the wild card as well. Then the A's have a series against the Rangers, along with the Royals, and a 2-game series against the Angels. And yes, we have moved to the West now, but the A's also have a 4-game series against the Mariners. So, the A's are looking pretty solid for the wild card. But they have a slim chance to win the West by being 7.5 games out behind the Astros, of course. And we all know how good the Astros are. So, that's pretty much it with the American League. So, let's move on to the National League, where we will start in the West, which is the Dodgers. No one's coming close to catching the Dodgers in their division. But I guess the D-backs have a chance to maybe go to the playoffs by being 5.5 games out of the wild card, but more than likely they won't. Alright, and next we will do the National League East, which the Braves won pretty fair and square. But then we have the Nats, Phillies, and Mets all have a chance for the wild card, as this is a pretty stacked East division in the National League. We'll start with the team who's in last place right now, which is the Phillies, who are 4.5 games out. And they have a series against the Braves, Indians, and Marlins, and a big 4-game series against the Nats, which could help them make the playoffs. Because if they won that, more than likely, I would think they would make the playoffs. But more than likely that won't happen either. But then on to the Mets, who are only 4 games out and have the Rockies, Reds, and Braves left in the 3-game series, and the Marlins in a 4-game series. So maybe the Mets can squeeze it out, and maybe they make it into the playoffs. Then on to the Nats, who have a 1.5 game lead in the wild card race, and they have the Cards, Marlins, and Braves left, as also a 4-game series against the Phillies. As right now, I think the Nats have a pretty good chance to make the playoffs, even though their team's not as strong as it has been, but their pitching's still top tier. And as long as they keep that starting rotation top tier, and if the relievers can start working their way in, the team can be pretty good. So then on to the big one, the NL Central, of course, where we will start with the Brewers, who are a game out of the wild card and 3 games out of the NL Central. And they have the Pirates, Reds, and the Rockies left, along with a big 4-game series against the Padres. But it's really not that big, because none of those 4 teams are very good. But the only problem with them is that Christian Yelich is out. So it could play a very big impact. And then the Cubs are 2 games out of the NL Central and a 1.5 games away from the wild card lead. And they have a series against the Reds, the Pirates, and 2 against the Cardinals. One of those being a 4-game series. So come down to it, that is going to be the big difference between the Cubs and Cardinals, who wins the NL Central. Or if magically the Brewers somehow come in do by my means. But the Cubs got a decent road ahead of them just because of those two series against the Cardinals. But if they were to win all of their series, like two games of each series, they more than likely will win the Central. Not even questioning it. But, of course, then on the other side, we got the Cardinals, who if they did the same, they easily win the Central. Big time win the Central. But they also have the Nats and the D-backs, who are a little bit tougher. But it's also baseball, and the Cardinals have been just inconsistent. They will play decent baseball and amazing baseball at times. And it's just tough to decide what they are going to come out as and which team will receive from them. So what's my prediction for this playoff race for the MLB? Well, in the American League, the Yankees, Astros, and the Twins will win their divisions respectively, with the wild card being the Indians and the A's. As the Rays, I think, just have too strong of a schedule left, but if they make it, I will be impressed. Then in the National League, I think the Dodgers, Braves, and Cubs will make it and win their divisions. Yes, the Cubs will win the NL Central. I said it. With the wild card being the Brewers and the Nationals. And honestly, it's a toss-up between the Cards and the Nats. Whoever takes their series could be the team in the playoffs, but the way the Cards have been playing, which isn't as great, and the way the Cubs have, I just see the Cubs beating out in the NL Central and the two series they play, and that's how they win the Central. And then Cardinals they have a tough schedule. That's pretty much it. And I think the Brewers' schedule is just easy. It's simple as that. They have too easy a schedule. They're just going to run in, win majority of their games, and be able to beat the Cardinals out for the last spot. So, that's the rundown of what's going on. So, what do you guys think? And how do you guys think this will play out? And of course, leave a suggestion down in the comments below for a new video. And who knows, your suggestion may just be the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody, and make sure you're weaving through every day just like it's your last.